Crafternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today we're going to have some fun because we're going to be playing with the brand new You Are So Loved card kit, and we're going to also be making a matching envelope, which I'm really excited about. I love this card layout that I'm going to show you today, and I think it's one that you can use over and over again for lots of different occasions. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
You are so loved. You are so good looking.
I hope you're talking to me. How are you?
Happy Crafternoon. I'm good. Better than horrible.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you made it today. Yesterday, you were riding your bike to work, and today we're in the middle of a snowstorm.
The last ride of the season.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I got it in, though.
You did. You got it in, so that was good. That was great.
Yes. We don't really match today. What happened?
No, I know. I don't know. I guess we didn't plan well.
We never talk anymore.
I know. We should keep a few things here so we can match. And you should keep a Gina K shirt. That will always match.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, that's the challenge for next time.
This was a couple people had mentioned my sweater. It's got this cool little tag too here. Isn't that kind of cute? This was a Stitch Fix.
Wow.
This came in a Stitch Fix probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. So I kind of broke out the sweater drawer today. Reached into the sweater drawer.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And cheerful amidst the gloom of I did my first shovel today too.
Oh, you did?
In the driveway. It's all going to melt though later, so
yes, it is.
All for naught.
Yes. Well, we have to accept it. We live in Wisconsin, but I think snowy days are great for crafting, so
there you go.
I'm not too upset. All right. Well, do you have a word of the day planned?
Yes, I have a word of the day. It's kind of one of those should be called this one type of word.
Oh, okay, good. I like those. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we are going to start by showing you the stamp set that I'm going to use today. I'm going to be using the You Are So Loved Stamp and Die collection here. And I'm going to be using this image, which is a string of 5 hands, all with different little hearts in them. And I'm going to use the You Are So Loved greeting. Now, I'm also going to use a stencil. And believe it or not, I have nothing here in my studio because I took everything home because I was crafting all weekend. And this is the only stencil I have here, so I'm going to use it. This is the Harvest Flourish stencil, so we're just going to use this one today. And then I'll be using Master Layouts too, and I'm going to be breaking out our new scoring board so I can show you how to make a matching envelope for your card today. So to get started, let me get my glasses here so I can see. We are going to trim down a piece of white cardstock. So I'm going to cut this piece of white cardstock just to 4 1/4 inches. And if you haven't watched since our last, like before our release party, you may notice this is our new Gina K Designs paper trimmer. And one thing you have to remember, it locks down here. You see that little peg right here? It locks, so it's kind of like child safe there, although I wouldn't recommend leaving it loose with your kids. But that does really help so that like if you're carrying it, because it is a travel paper cutter, you don't have to worry about this arm opening up in your bag and grabbing onto the blade or whatever when you go to pull it out. The other thing is once you open it, that little peg will rest right here. And so you don't have to open it every time. But then when you're done, you can lock it up and put it away until the next time you're going to craft. So I just wanted to show you that. And for those of you that had that little paper cutter on your wish list, our old paper cutter that we used to carry, this one is a little bit less expensive. So that's kind of a plus too. And of course, it's got this nifty little hole here so you can hang it up. Super lightweight. And I think you will love it. This is my favorite kind of cutter. I love Some people say guillotine, other people say guillotine, but I love this kind of handle that comes down like this. I feel like I get better, straighter results than the kind with the little slide blade. So I hope you love it as much as I do. Okay, so we're going to start by stamping that hand with that hand image. I was going to say the hand with the 5 hands, but that doesn't make sense. The stamp with the 5 hands, that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to get this out. And this stamp set, of course, comes with a full set of dies and a magnetic board to put them on. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is this set of hands all comes in one die like this, one plate. Initially, I was going to make each hand a separate die, but I love the spacing of this design. So I'm going to show you how to use this today to easily space out your images. Okay, and I'm going to pop them up too. So I'll show you a little trick for that. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this with some black onyx ink because I want to color this today with Gamsol and colored pencils. Now, of course, you can color this with whatever you want. You can use Copic markers, watercolor, whatever. But you know me, I love my Gamsol and colored pencils because it makes me look like I know what I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing really when it comes to coloring. Not bad. Not bad. Better than horrible, right? But, you know, it does help a lot. Where's my little Chucky tool? Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to give that a second stamping because this is a relatively new set. And you know, when you get new stamps, sometimes you have to stamp them a couple of times right out of the gate just to get a nice deep impression. Or if it is a more detailed design, you may want to stamp more than once with a light pressure instead of one time with heavy pressure so you don't distort the design. And remember, all your orders this week all the way through Sunday are going to get a free tidy towel. So if you had the tidy towel on your wish list and you placed an order on your for our new release, you're getting a free tidy towel and you're going to love it. It is truly my favorite tool in my craft room. It cleans everything. And somebody was so cute in our group. She posted, hey, what do I do with the tidy towel other than just use it for my stamps? Because I have 7 of them coming. So she must have placed 7 orders during our new release. Which is fine to do. I mean, some people, you know, with the 25% discount we have going right now on the rest of the store, some people are definitely, I'm trying to decide if I want to stamp this greeting right on the card or if I want to pop it up. I'm going to cut one and then we'll decide. And if not, I'll use it for something else. But some people are ordering a lot of the things that have been on their wish list for a while because you get an extra 25% off. And if you break those orders up into $75 orders, you get our incentive set, you get our alternate incentive set, and then you get a little pack of cardstock with each order after that. As long as you put a little notation in your order that, you know, this is my 2nd order, this is my 3rd order, this is my 4th order. So whoever posted that in our Facebook group is getting 7 incentive sets and 7 tidy towels. And a big shout out to Brianne Loveland. I see her here in the chat. She is helping out in case anybody is looking for any of the things that we're using today. She is sharing that link. And also, Tom, do you want to share our coupon code with everybody just in case people weren't at our release party? If you weren't at our release party and you want to get 25% off, there's the coupon code. It's Cyber25. So make sure you put that into the coupon code box at checkout and you will get that 25% off on your order. All right, so I'm just going to have a little piece of white cardstock over here, and I'm going to color this image. So I'm going to use colored pencils and Gamsol. I have to turn on my remote every time I want to use it. That is such a pain, but you know, it's something that you have to deal with, right? Okay, so I'm going to use, that's magenta. I want to use crimson red. Let's see if that works. Which one is this? That's Crimson Lake. All the crimsons. And this one is permanent red. Let's take a look at these two colors here. I want to look at this red. That's a very nice bright red. And this red is a deeper red. I think I'm going to go with this red, this deeper red, the crimson, because as I blend out with my colored pencils and Gamsol, it'll get a little lighter toward the center. Oh no, you tried to use Cyber 24? Yeah, Cyber 25. Think 25 for 25% off. But I see where you were going with that because it's 2024. So yeah, I get it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to color around the perimeter of each of these little hearts. I actually might mix a little Copic marker in here for the hands themselves. And just add a little bit of color to the hands. And I'll pick a few different skin tone markers to make them each look a little bit different. So I'm just going around the perimeter because I want my hearts to be really light in the center. It just gives them some nice dimension. So this is kind of the way I like to color with colored pencils. Yeah, I'm not trying to be pushy at all with our sale information. I mean, obviously, you know, do what you need to do or not need to do. That's totally fine. But I don't want anybody to miss it, you know? If you weren't here during our release party and maybe you only go to YouTube, you don't do Facebook, and you haven't seen our ads and stuff for the sale. I just didn't want anybody to go, oh, I like this kit. I think I'm going to go buy it. And a couple other things and not get 25% off the other things. Also, this kit is 10% off. So everything in our What's New category is 10% off until Sunday night. So that's just a little extra. So we've got lots of fun things happening. We decided to do Black Friday early because we know a lot of people actually buy things as gifts for people. And when you do these big sales, we're a bunch of small craft companies out here, and we have good sized staff for our regular day-to-day selling. But when it comes to releases, it takes us a little extra time to get everything out. And when it comes to sales like this, holy cannoli, we know everybody wants to save. So we can get a little behind. So it's good to, have the extra time if people are buying things for holiday gifts. Okay, so now I'm going to use some Gamsol. And if you've never used Gamsol before, this is how it looks. If you don't have Gamsol where you live, you just need an artist grade odorless mineral spirits. And there's other things that you can use instead, like lavender spike oil. There's also a product called Zest It, which a lot of people use. Zest It is a UK brand product. So for my friends who are in the UK, you could try Zest It. It's made from oranges. It smells delightful. But Gamsol is available in most art stores. You can even find it here in the big box stores. So it's a good one to use, and it's safe to use inside because it's an artist grade. So I'm going to use a blending stump. We do carry these blending stumps on our website. These are by a company called Creative Mark, and I really like them because they're not too dense. Not all blending stumps are created equally. Some blending stumps, it's paper pulp that's kind of like pressed together. So there's also tortillons, I believe they're called, and they are rolled paper. They don't work very well for this technique. But blending stumps like this, if they're pressed too tight, they don't absorb enough Gamsol. So I like these. They're just the right amount of density. And I'm going to pick up some Gamsol there. You see, I didn't just like drop it in. I just held it in there for a second to pick up some Gamsol. And then I'm going to start right on the colored pencil to kind of soften that wax a little bit. And then I'm just working my way toward the center in a circular motion, just bringing that color toward the center to give me lots of depth and dimension. And I love the little bit of texture that you get with Gamsol. It's just a fun way to color. See, isn't that pretty? It's so easy to do. You'll be able to do this. I think some people say, oh, you know, I can't get it to move, but they start on the white part. You actually have to start on the color because that's what you're doing. You're kind of like liquefying that color a little bit. And I know I'm using all the wrong terms, but it's like breaking it down or something, and it just makes it kind of liquidy and you can move it around. But it's totally dry. I mean, you don't have to worry about it smearing or anything. And welcome, everybody. It's great to see all of you popping in. I know a lot of you are here on your lunch hour, and we really appreciate you spending time with us. I saw Kathy Zilski in the chat a little earlier. She said she was going to grab her lunch and join us. So hi, Kathy, if you're here. I was at her live yesterday. She made an adorable card with this same set. So if you haven't checked out her live, make sure that you do. I don't know if Mindy Egan is here today, but Mindy has posted some really, really cute, not just cute, really beautiful cards using this kit. And Megan Andrew posted some gorgeous cards using this kit. Jennifer McGuire posted some beautiful cards using the stencil from the kit. So lots of inspiration out there from our designers. Rebecca Keppel posted a video yesterday or Tuesday. So many great videos out there. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Okay, so now we've got our hearts all colored in. You can see how easy that was. Now, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use different colors for each of the sleeves. So here's Parrot Green. That's a good color. Let's start with this one here. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to color across the top of the sleeve and then down each sleeve like that. And I am laying on the color kind of heavy. It's kind of not the way you're taught to color with colored pencils, because if you've ever taken a colored pencil class, you know, they kind of tell you to like not press too hard and, you know, shade lightly, and then if you want more color, go back over and add a second layer in certain areas, and then go back and add more to deepen the color to create your blends. With this, I'm just putting the full waxy pressure on it. But you want that when you're dealing with the Gamsol, because you want, you know, a nice dense amount of color on there. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I picked up a different blending stump this time. We sell our blending stumps in a little pack, so you have, and they're all the skinny ones. We're now doing all the skinny ones because this is the only one I really use in my videos. So most people like to have extra ones of these. They're just small enough that, you know, you can get the details and into the small areas. And you see I'm just kind of working that color toward the center. I went a little outside the line there. Let's see if I can erase that with my mono sand eraser. If I can't, I can always use a little bit of gel pen on there. Ah, I'm making a mess. I should have waited a second until it dried. That's okay. All these are getting cut out anyway, so I'm not worried about what's going on down here. I'll just blow that away. So if you ever go outside of the lines, you can always just take a white gel pen. Let me see if I can, or even a white pencil. So I don't know where my Prismacolor white pencil is. Oh, here it is. Is this white? Yeah, this is white. You can always just color over that with the white pencil just to kind of cover that up a little bit. And you really won't see it too bad. Or if you really get it on there bad, you can always go in with your white gel pen and just dot a little bit of white gel pen on there. But this is getting cut out, so you're barely going to see it anyway. Okay, let's pick another color. Let's do a purple this time. Is this a good purple? That should be a nice purple. Let me try this purple too. Let's see this one. Ooh, I kind of like this one. Are they the same? I love when I do that. I'm like, no. It's like going to the eye doctor, and they're like, is this better or worse? And half the time, I think they're actually using the same one because it all looks the same to me. But I pick one. You know, I play along. All right, I'm going to use this one. This is violet. That last color that I used was parrot green. And I'll list all of these colors in the description on YouTube. So if you want to do the same exact colors as I'm doing, you certainly can. But if you don't want to, just do whatever colors you want. Okay. And again, I'm just going down the sides here. I'll be a little more careful not to go outside the lines this time.
All right, couple quick questions.
Yes.
If a die is sold out and does not have the notify me option, is it not coming back?
It should have a notify me option. If you can see it on the website, it should have a notify me option.
Okay. And then
So you could call customer service about that.
here's another. Will there be a different sale on Black Friday or Cyber Monday since the coupon ends on the 24th?
No, we decided this year that we would do our sale this week instead. And it's probably going to take us a full 17 business days to get everything shipped out. So we decided that this week would be our Cyber Week.
And what type of color pencils are you using?
I'm using Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. Now there are a couple other Prismacolor pencils that are available, and you might find that some of them are a little bit cheaper, like the Scholar pencils. And there's very thin or very fine. But the very fine or very thin colored pencils, they're harder. They're not as soft. I think they're more of a drawing pencil and less of a coloring pencil. And the Scholar ones are actually more of like a student pencil. And I feel like the quality of those is a little bit more comparable to Crayola. You know, it's not a real high quality pencil the way the Premiers are better. So if you're looking to get a colored pencil, I recommend these. I mean, there are great brands out there, like really fancy brands like Caran d'Ache pencils. They're very expensive. I'm not worthy of that level of pencil. I don't need it because I've got everything that I need right here with Prismacolors. But, you know, I'm trying to find the right green because I want to do something with apple mint. So I have a piece of apple mint cardstock here. Let's just see how close this is to apple mint. This one might be a little better. Might be a little greener. I don't think it's going to matter, though. I'm going to go with this one. This is spring green. So we're going to color this little sleeve here spring green. We could add that other color and blend them together if we wanted to kind of create our own color.
Not to be confused with string bean.
String bean. Wouldn't that be a great color name, though? String bean? I know exactly what color that is. Spring green string bean. Okay, I got to find another little blending stump here. Here's one. Now, when you get new blending stumps, they're going to have this kind of like little paper kind of nubby thing. I would recommend using either a nail file, or if you want to be fancy, you can get one of these. It's by Statler. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong too. But you want to get that off. So basically what I do is I prep the blending stump. And the way you prep the blending stump is you just start filing it kind of in a circular motion, like I'm rolling it as I file it. And that just makes it a little more porous. And then you can pull that little piece off the top, or you can sand it off the top. But you want to kind of get it started like that. That'll just allow the Gamsol to get into it. Otherwise, you know, that coating on the outside of this paper makes it harder for the Gamsol to get in there. So I do love to name my colors after food, Cheryl. You're absolutely right. my fresh asparagus and my sweet mango. Wild, what are some of the other names? Well, not wild lilac, that's not edible, but we have like cherry red and lemon drop.
Fresh asparagus.
Fresh asparagus, yep. Blue raspberry. Oh my gosh, you're right. I do love to name my stuff after food. All right, let's go with a blue now. Let's try this one. This is Copenhagen blue. Oh, that's a nice blue. Add that in here. This really isn't taking very long to color these. But this is a nice kind of project to do if, you know, you don't know what you want to make. Just color a bunch of these and cut them out. Because I think that this particular image would be really cute for a lot of things. Like if you're sending it from or to a family of 3, you could just use 3 hands. You could, if you're doing it like from the whole gang at work, you could use all of them. If you're, you know, you just want a single hand, you could do that. So it's kind of nice to have some of these ready to go that you can pop onto your cards when you want. Oh, this is a beautiful color. When you start to blend that out, look how vibrant that color is getting. And it's also a great way just to practice Gamsol coloring. That's really pretty. Oh, I love the texture of Gamsol colored pencils. It's so like, I don't know, it's just, love it. And I love just keeping that little bit of white down the center. You know, and my goal here, again, isn't to create lights and darks and things like that, like where the light's coming from and stuff. I'm just looking to add color and shading. I just want it to be shaded. So, you know, any way that you want to do that is fine. This is called Pale Vermilion. And let's see what this one is called. I'd like to do an orange here. Ooh, that's a nice orange. Oh, that's called orange. Let's go with that. That'll be easy to remember. I just wanted to make this nice and colorful. I want each one of these hands to just represent somebody different. And I think a card like this with You Are So Loved, I mean, you know, think about like maybe people that you work with that are going through a struggle, or, you know, just somebody in your family, and you want the whole family to get in on signing a card together. It's a nice way to let somebody know that they're being thought about and they're cared for and they're loved.
Linda wants to know, do you find the lead on your pencils break easily? My Prisma pencils do.
So I use, first let me say, they do break sometimes, yeah. But I use the iOrbit pencil sharpener, and I find that that really does help, that pencil sharpener, in not breaking the points. Some pencil sharpeners, I don't know what they do. They like grind around the wood too much or something. That doesn't make sense, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem as good as this one. So let me show you the one that I have. It's this one. It's called an iPoint Orbit by Westcott. And Karen Hightower, my friend Karen, who I love so much, sent me the pencil sharpener, and I've loved it ever since. It's a great one. So I would try that and see if that makes it a little bit easier. I just want to keep these pencils separate so I remember to list the colors in the description. Okay, so now I've got my little image here, and it's time for me to cut it. So we're going to do a little extra die cutting too. We're going to cut a Master Layouts 2 panel, and we're going to cut out this greeting to see if that's what we... Yeah, I did shoot Tom almost in the eye with a point of a pencil in one of our videos, so I don't know if you guys remember that. It happens sometimes. You know, we do what we can, right? All right, so let's cut this out first. Okay, and see if we can cut this with, I'm gonna get a piece of Masking Magic strips here to kind of tack this all down because I don't want it to move. Do you use anything to weigh your cards? I missed that.
Do you have use anything to weigh your cards to check for extra postage?
You know, I don't. I purchased the hand cancel stamp set of stamps from the post office. You can get them. They are more expensive. And this way I don't worry if there's a little bit of bulk or if it's just a tiny bit overweight. I don't worry about it. But you could get, you know, a little food scale and just keep it at home. Something like that.
You're going to color the hands too, right?
What's that? Oh, yeah, I am going to color the hands. You're right. I forgot to color the hands, but I can color them right here. So let me grab a couple little colors. Let's see what I can find. I am going to have to... Okay, so let me get that little test paper here. I'll just put it off to the side here so that we can see it together. So that's a nice skin tone. This one is E35. It's called Chamois. And then here is Pale Heath. I think this might be too purple. Yeah, that's too purple. This one, RV10, is Pale Pink. That might be too pink. I think I need to go with a more beigey one. So this one is Fruit Pink. That might be a good one. Yeah, I think we could make that one work. Let's see. This one is called Milky White. That would work. Let's see, we can find one more. Powder Pink. We'll try that. All right, let's use those. So again, I'm just going to add a little bit in here. I'm not doing any shading or anything like that. Just adding that color. So that's Powder Pink. I'll put those aside. Ooh, what's this? This is E34 Oriental, because it's got an E on the end. That's really close to that. I think that would be nice, though. Let's try it. I'll put this one in here.
So on the purple cuff, is that, or sleeve, is that jewelry or a cuff?
That is jewelry. There's two little bracelets, like I wear. Except I wear 3. 4. I wear 4. Okay, we'll make this one. This is a little brighter. We can reuse some of those colors that we already used too. Yeah, these are bracelets. Okay. Let's do, let me see if I have one more. I'd like to go just a hair darker if we have one that's just a hair darker. Boy, the Copic markers are so close. Let's do this one down here. This is so cute, this image. And I think I'll do another one with this milky white. It seems like a nice assortment. There we go. Okay. Okay. So this one, I didn't use this one, but I feel like it was super close to the other one.
Catherine wants to know, how do you keep the blade sharp on the paper cutter?
Well, it's kind of self-sharpening, so you just kind of pull it a little bit inward and, run it up and down a little bit, and that helps to sharpen it. You can also cut aluminum foil with it. So that's another way to do it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just put these aside here, and I'm going to keep this little thing. And then we're going to cut a master layouts 2. As long as I had my other paper cutter though, and I've used it for years, I never really had to sharpen it. It wasn't a problem. So I guess it would really depend a little bit on what you're cutting that might be making it dull. I think the only thing that makes blades dull is wax paper, like a waxed paper. So I have cut wax paper, but you shouldn't add that to your dies. I know people like to say to do that, but you really shouldn't because it does dull your blade. It gets gunky on your blade, and that's part of the problem. I don't know what that is, but we'll cover that up. And I'm going to cut a black panel using Master Layouts 2 as well, because you know me, I can't not have black on my cards. I made a couple cards lately that had me hyperventilating a little because I didn't use black on them. I'm just cutting these in quarters off to the side here. Okay. So I'm going to cut this black panel with the larger die.
So Shirley said, I bought a kit of blending stumps. They're different sizes. Do you ever use thicker ones, and what would you use them for?
I have used thicker ones in the past when I wanted to color a sky or something like that, where I wanted to use bigger washes of color and something that I wasn't using for details. So I have used them, but I don't do that very much, so I don't really use that very much. But you can use them, and if you file them down to a sharp point, you can use them even for detail work. Oh wait, I want to cut this greeting out too. So let's do that. Here's the die set. Cut the greeting out here. So I'm gonna look at it like this. I don't even know if I'm gonna do it this way, but it's good to have it in case we decide to go in this direction. So I know that I'm blocking everything with my hands, but I just want to hold this down. I need our magnetic mats to come back in stock. They are at sea, so they are coming. So is there an ink question there, Karen? I see Karen's asking a question.
Yes, it is about, she needs to buy some amalgam ink because she doesn't have any.
Okay.
Which would you say is the most used? I'm buying a ton of regular dye inks, so only want to purchase one this time around.
So it depends. If you like no-line coloring, where you stamp the lines in really, really light ink, then I would recommend something like Warm Glow, which is good, because it does kind of blend into your color, but it's a little easier to see than Barely There. But if you're looking for, if you like to color using black ink, I would say go with black, because then, you can stamp out your images in black, let them dry or heat set them, and then you can color with anything. Copic markers, watercolor, any medium you can use. But if you just use Copic markers and Gamsol, you would be fine with just the Gina K Designs dye ink, the black dye ink. I have one stencil and I lost it. Oh, here it is. I hid it under all my markers and everything. So I'm going to use this Harvest Flourish stencil, and I'm going to just lay that on top here. I feel like I used it and didn't clean it properly though, so I'm going to clean it first with a little bit of alcohol. Alcohol is great to clean your stencils because it dries super fast and it will really get the ink off. Yeah, I had a little gray on there from something I was working on, but it really gets like all the ink off, even if you've stenciled in black or, you know, a real dark navy or something. It does a really great job of getting ink off.
And Shirley wants to know, do you use a different blending stump for every color you use?
I do, but I only have a handful of them. So, you know, once it dries, you can just file the color off and use it for different colors. So 1 pack of blending stumps is really good because you've got 2 ends on each blending stump. And I believe there's 6 in a pack. But maybe Brianne can tell me if there's 6 in a pack because she would know. I think she's on the website. There's either 5 or 6 in a pack. So you're either going to have 12 sides or you're going to have 10 sides to use. So that's a lot of colors. All right. And also, Brianne, make sure you share your inkstand link. I also have this inkstand linked on my website under Things I Love, because we don't carry the inkstand, but Brianne was so kind as to make me an affiliate, so I have that link on my website as well. But go ahead and Brianne, just share yours, because I know people love the inkstand and people always ask. We always get that question at customer service. What does Gina use for her ink?
We need a link stand.
I need a link stand for the inkstand.
Question, which black ink is best to stamp with when you're going to color with alcohol markers?
I would say the easiest one is the black onyx because it dries faster. It's a water-based ink, so you can use it with with Copics or Gamsol. But if you want to use watercolor, then you have to use the opposite kind of ink. You need a solvent-based ink or something that isn't going to run when you hit it with water. Okay, Brianne said there's 6 in there. Thank you, Brianne. So there are 6 blending stumps in the pack, which means you have 12 sides. You know, you use one side for your blue, and then you flip it over and use the other side for your purple. So you can definitely do up to 12 colors with 1 pack. Okay, so I'm going to use some sea glass ink here, and I'm going to do a little grounding area back here, just so that my hands have something to kind of fall on, if that makes sense. I'm just going in the center here. I'm not going all the way to the edge. But I just want to have a little color, a little grounding area. Let's take a look at that. We can always put it back if we need more. Yeah, I think that looks nice. It's darker in real life than, see, you can really see it there. It's just the lights are kind of bright here. So this allows me to place my hands on here, and it gives like a little texture behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little cutout piece and I'm going to position it so that it looks centered. Because this is perfectly centered. I might go up just a hair because I want to have room for my greeting down here. So I'm kind of laying out my card and how I want it to look. I think that's going to look good. And I'm just looking from side to side to make sure that it looks even on both sides. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little masking magic on here to hold this down. So hopefully you can see that okay. If you struggle with like being able to see white on white, you can always cut another template out in a brighter color like a pink or something, which would then maybe allow you to position it a little bit better, see it a little bit better. But I can see it okay here, so I'm just going to pop that into place. Now I'm going to put each of these hands in their corresponding spot, but I'm going to pop them up. So this is the first one here. So I'm going to just make sure that's the one. Yep. So I'm going to put some foam squares on the back of this, and I'm going to pop these up so we'll have a little bit of dimension. I don't know that any of our inks would really be great for stamping on wood. You know, if you're stamping on wood, it sounds like you want to make a project that's going to last. And honestly, I would probably go with a StazOn ink for something like that. I don't think I would use just a plain dye ink or even the amalgam ink. Okay, so we're going to put that right over that spot. And don't worry if it's not perfectly down in there. You know, if it's just tiny shifted, that's totally fine. All right, the next one was the purple one. So I'm going to put that one on next. So Tom, while I am placing all of these, would this be a good time to do the word of the day, you think?
Word of the day. It's time. Okay, so today's word of the day is very simple. It's one of those words where this really should have been called this thing. So, horseshoes. Horseshoes. Don't you think they really should have been called? Nope, not that. Shoes.
Yes.
Horseshoes should be called shoes. Why weren't they called shoes?
They missed another opportunity.
And you were in on this, actually, a little bit, weren't you?
Well,
way back, a long time ago.
Way back a long time ago, I think that we coined that phrase, yes. Shoes.
Shoes. Back.
And that's kind of like in the same vein as our hemorrhoids should have been called asteroids.
Yeah, we've had a few of those words.
That's one of my favorites too. I like the should have been called words.
Yes.
That's a good one. Shoes.
Shoes. Word of the day, back to the dead space.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. All right. Well, we're almost done placing these. And the reason why I like to do it this way and not just use the metal plate, you could use the metal plate if you want, but I like to do the negative piece of cardstock the best because it's hard sometimes to actually pull this up and over, especially if they're all not positioned exactly right. So then the easy way to do it is just to take a pair of scissors and you can just, you know, kind of cut it apart like that. It makes it very easy to get it out. So sometimes you can wiggle it out. I'm sure you could wiggle them, but you can't like bend and stuff. You can't bend a metal plate and you can't cut it away like that. So, but you see how cute that looks now with them all standing up? It's got all that extra dimension. I love that. And they're perfectly positioned, which is so fun. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this. Probably should have done that first, but that's okay. We'll adhere it to the black panel. And then I am thinking that apple mint would be a fun color cardstock because we finally got apple mint back in stock after like 1,000,000 years. We had to have it remilled, and we did. So it's finally back in stock. And let me grab one. Here it is, apple mint. I think that would be pretty. Jelly bean would also be really pretty with this. Let's look at the two colors together before we decide. There's apple mint. I love apple mint. Ooh. And where is jelly bean? Here is jelly bean. Okay, so here's apple mint and here is jelly bean. Which one do you prefer? Let's get the answers from the crowd because they know better. Let's see. Okay, some people are saying I like the apple mint. All right. Apple mint, jelly bean. All right, Tom, you're gonna have to do the trying to decide the vote here. Keep going. Do you think it's more apple mints or more jelly beans? I feel like it's more apple mints this time.
Seems to be a slight edge on the apple mint.
Yeah. And, you know, I know that you guys can't see. You might be watching on, like, Twitch or Facebook or something, and you don't see all the votes, but we get all the comments from all the platforms. So, yeah, apple mint. Okay. All right, we'll do apple mint, especially because we haven't had an apple mint card in a while. So I think that will be fun to do apple mint. All right, so let's cut this. You know, I was on Kathy Zilski's live yesterday for a little bit in her chat, and Kathy is a clean and simple gal. She likes white card bases most of the time, and she was struggling because we were all yelling out colors, and that was like you guys all yelling out to me to use another color other than black for my layer. It was just hard for her, hard for me when you say, you know, to use something other than black. So I'm just scoring that at the 4 1/4 inch mark, and then I'm going to just flatten that out down here. Okay. And then we will put this on top. Yeah, I like the apple mint. Tom, word of the day reminds me of, why do cows have hooves instead of feet? Because they lack toes. That's a good one. I love it. I love it. Okay. So there, now we could stamp the greeting right on there, but since we already cut this out, let's pop it up and give it some more dimension. Because they lack toes. That's funny. That was a good one. I'm going to use some smaller bits here of foam squares. I always cut like a handful in half. All right. And we'll pop this in, and then we're going to make an envelope to match. So I'm going to show you how to do it on our new little scoreboard with our little corner notcher punch. Okay, so I want to try to get this straight. You are so... Let go. Does that look straight? It might be over this way a little bit. Oh, yeah, I think it is. I didn't smush it down yet, so I have to remember not to look at the hands, but rather look from side to side. I think that's going to be a better spot, but we'll see. Does that look better? It might not be straight, but... Yeah, actually that looks pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to add a few little sequins in here. So let's add some sequins, and then we'll make our envelope. The envelope takes like 2 seconds to make. It's super quick. So I'm going to just do like a sequin here. One here. One here. One down here, one up here, and one over here. Okay. And of course you can add a lot more if you want. That is totally up to you. But I like just that little bit of bling. I did make a sample where I added a few more sequins. Oh, I didn't even pick the sequin up. Like, why isn't it dropping down? There we go. I just put that right in the glue. So I'm using the disco ball sequins. A great little thing to throw into your holiday cart if you're shopping our Black Friday sale. We do have, I think we have micro in stock, or we have the regular ones in stock, but both of them are useful. I mix all mine together. I like having the really tiny ones, and I also like having the middle of the road size, so they all work really nicely together. Okay. So there we've got that little bit of bling around there. And again, I'll take a nice high quality photo of this so that you can see it better. But isn't that just a fun, sweet card? And the thing that I like too is with a greeting like this, you can always cut it here and do "You are so loved." And you could just do 3 hands. You could do 2 hands. Like sometimes, you know, maybe you have a college kid and they're kind of going through it, being away from home, and they miss you. You could put just 2 hands, like maybe mom and dad. Maybe just your hand, you know. Maybe just grandma is sending it. Maybe just dad is sending it. So there's a lot of ways that you can use this without using all of the hands. But I like all of the hands. I think that they're really cute. Okay, so we're going to make an apple mint envelope, and then I'll bring this back. So let me get another piece of apple mint cardstock here.
That's the name of the kit, right? You are so loved.
Yep. And I'm just going to cut a big piece of cardstock. Now, I want to show you on the back here, it tells you what size to cut your cardstock based on what size you want your envelope. And then there's scale marks in both inches and in centimeters. So for those of you who use centimeters, like most of the world, you can use this chart. If you are in the US and you use inches, you can use this chart. And this is the size of the finished card, and then we're going to make an envelope that fits into it. So we're going to go with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which says A2 right here. So we know that that's an A2. We also have an A6. But we're going to do this one. It says to cut your cardstock 8 by 8. So that's what we're going to do. Now, these envelopes are a little squarish, not super square, but they're a little squarish, but they work beautifully. So I'm cutting this 8 by 8.
And what's a good paper weight?
Well, I'm using our regular 100-pound, but you can, I mean, if you've got like a nice text weight paper, you can make a thinner envelope. If you've got like a 65-pound weight cardstock, you can use that as well. Okay, so we're going to start, now here's the next part. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, cut your paper 8 by 8, and your scale mark is at 3 1/2 inches. Now, here are the scale mark lines going down here. And I know that my lighting is so blown out that it's hard to see, but you can see it really easily in real life. Here is the 3 1/2 inch mark right there. This is the scale mark, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of cardstock and we're going to line it up with the scale mark. That's the 3 1/2 inch mark right down here. Then we're going to take our scoring tool and we're going to put it up into this little slot up here, and we're going to score a line. All right? So that's our first line. Now that's the only time you use the scale mark, just to make the first line. The scale mark determines the size of everything else. Okay? So now we're going to turn it, and you'll see this little mark right up here. Okay? It has a 0 next to it, and that's where the rest of your lines are going to line up. All right, so we've got our scale mark that we made. Now we're going to turn it a 1/4 turn, and this score line is going to line up right here. All right, so we're lining it up right there. What's happening down here doesn't matter anymore. We're just going to line it up right there. All right, and now we're going to do another score line. Okay, Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line up this score line with that 0 mark. And we're going to score it. And then we're going to do the same thing again for the final one. We're going to line this score line up with that 0 mark. Okay, so now we've got our score lines. Now we're going to use the corner notcher punch. If you don't have that, you can just use scissors and trim those out. But the corner notcher is really easy to use, and it makes it just a hair more decorative. All right, so the way this corner notcher works is you're going to line this up with your score lines. That's how you'll know exactly where to put your notch. So I'm going to push that in there until it's lined up with my score lines. See that? You don't want to do it here. You don't want to go in all the way. You want to go and use the score lines as your guide with the notch. Okay? And once you have that in place, punch it. And that creates the little fancy notch there. Okay, so I'm going to punch these all out. And if they're not exactly perfect, don't worry about it. It'll still work. All right, there we go. So now we have our notches, okay? I'm going to back out just a little bit because I feel like I'm just a hair close. Okay, now I'm going to fold all of these in. And I know that maybe feels a little counterintuitive because we normally fold out, but you can see those score lines are so nice and crisp that it doesn't even matter. And you can decide, you know, which way you want it. Do you want it to go like that? It's pretty close to the same. Now we're gonna, but these are the short ends, so they're gonna go in, and then this is your flap. Now we're gonna round the corner, round the flap. So I'm gonna use the corner side, that's the opposite side, and I'm gonna round that flap so now it looks, it's prettier. You see, that's a little bit fancier. And then we're gonna do the same up here. We're going to round the top flap. And that makes a really pretty envelope. So I'm going to glue this, but before I do, I am going to use my score tool. And I really want to press these down so that they're nice and flat. So we're just going to do that the way we normally would with our cardstock. It'll help when you glue everything together on the envelope. Just to have that all pressed out. Like that. Okay, looking good. Now, let's see. I'm going to adhere this panel over to this panel, but you don't want to go all the way up to the top with your glue because then that's going to stick to the inside of your envelope. So I would instead put your glue on the flap. This way you know you're not going to go past it. So we'll do that. My glue. There we go. We'll just put some glue on here. And we'll put some glue on here. Like that. All right. And then we're going to put that up and we're going to just rub our finger over it a little bit. And then if you want, you can put something like an acrylic block on that to just hold it down. So you might want to make your envelope first. And this way, by the time you're done making your card, that is, you know, completely dry. But, I mean, it dries. Connect glue dries pretty quickly. And then your card is going to fit right in there really nicely. And then you can just close that up. And you could tape it closed, you could glue it closed, whatever works for you. But that's kind of a fun, easy way to make a matching envelope for your card. You could also, you know, if you don't want to go with the thicker cardstock, which I totally understand, you might not want to use cardstock for it. You could always do like our white layering weight, which feels thinner just because it's so smooth, and it's only 80 pound. And then you could decorate the outside with a stencil in apple mint to match it. You know, maybe add this little pattern, the Harvest Flourish stencil that we added on the background, but maybe do it in apple mint going across the bottom. So lots of different ways that you can create a matching look. But I'm telling you, this little scoreboard is so convenient, and with all of that written there, it's not a piece of paper to lose, you know, which is nice. It's right on the scoring board, and then your tool store's right there. Very convenient and easy to take with you.
And question.
Yes.
Any advice for someone who's left-handed using the
You know,
score?
when I used to teach in a beauty school, I used to teach nail technology, and I taught people how to do acrylic nails and things like that. And I would always tell them, watch me do it in a mirror. So we would bring a mirror up, and they would watch me do the same exact thing in a mirror, and that kind of makes it backwards. But, you know, since the scoreboard, we can't really reverse the design of the scoreboard. You know, I guess you'll have to just line it up and hold it in place, and then using your scoring tool, use your other hand. I would say that is the best way to do it. We don't have a left-handed version of the scoreboard at this time.
Some people just suggested using it upside down.
That might work. That might work. I mean, you can experiment with that, and that might be a great suggestion. So I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope that this really helped you understand how easy it is. What are the images on the back of the scoreboard? Okay, so there's like little designs here that if you have one of those, well, you can actually use, let's see here. You can actually use this end, because see how it comes to a little point there? So these, you could put your paper over it, and you could create fancy little embossed scrolls, little zigzags, a butterfly, a flower, a star, a heart. It just allows you to dry emboss. It's kind of an old-fashioned thing, you know. We used to do that with those metal plates and a tool with a ball on the end. If you still have one of those tools, you could use that instead. You can do this on thinner paper so that you can see through it a little bit better, but it does allow you to kind of create little scrolls and
You
things
could maybe
like that.
go back and forth very lightly over the paper and like, yeah, like or across the I don't know what you would call.
You mean like you used to do with a penny when you were a kid?
That kind of thing, and it would be just enough to maybe, and then you can hit it very lightly with an ink pad or something. And it
Oh,
would catch.
listen to Tom coming up with the ideas. I love that. Yeah. So, you know, that's what those are for. They're just extras because there was space here to add those extras. And you can give it a try and see how you like that. You know, even on your flat envelopes that you already have, you could lay that across there and just do a little embossed zigzag pattern and stuff like that. Yes, enhance the envelope design. So, all right. Well, what do you think, Tom?
I think.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Shall we give away a gift card?
Let's do it.
Yeah, and remember, you can use this gift card now, too, and get an extra 25% off on your order. So, all right, let's do a gift card, Tom.
All right, drum roll, please.
Wait, we need you in here, and we need the overhead, and we need us both. There we go. Yay!
All right.
You have to be in here.
One more time.
Okay.
And the winner today is Elaine Erne. Elaine Erne,
Yay,
E-R-N-E.
Elaine.
Yay!
Woohoo! Congratulations, Elaine. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get that gift card out to you. Well, this was so much fun, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little inspiration today for your new kit if it's on the way. And if not, maybe you have the scoreboard coming and you're getting ready to make your own envelopes, so you've learned something new as well. Tom and I will be back with Rena sometime on Monday. I have to check her schedule. I'm not sure if she's able to come in the afternoon or if we're going to do an evening live, but I will let you know as soon as I can. And I'll post that on YouTube and in our Facebook group. So look forward to that because that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be making recipe cards. We're going to show you other things that you can do with that fantastic Chef's Choice recipe bundle. And you can get that at 10% off through Sunday night as well. And then Tom and I will be back for our regular Tuesday night Stamp and Chat Live. And then we're going to take Thursday off because here in the United States, it's Thanksgiving. So we will be celebrating with family. And then we'll be back the following week after that. So for our regular scheduled lives. So in the meantime, everybody, we hope you have a great crafty weekend coming up. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you're in the snowstorms, stay inside and craft. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.